Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water. So they filled them to the brim. So just to paint the picture here, they are told to fill these huge water pots with water from a man who they have never met before. They have no idea who he is. They are told to just fill these big pots with water, but they do it anyway. Like, these people needed wine. They didn't need water. They needed wine. We can be so quick to doubt what Jesus is doing sometimes that we're not trusting and being obedient and listening to his word. You know, these servants could have went to Jesus and said, Jesus, this makes no sense. We need wine. We don't need water. Or they could have said, no, Jesus, this is what we need to do. This is how you do it. This is how we're going to get our wine. There were so many scenarios and things that they could have said, but they didn't. How many times in your life do you feel like you're given instruction by God, but you don't stay obedient simply because the instructions don't make sense? How often do we say, Jesus, no, this is what I need. This is how I need to do it. This is how you can help me, Jesus. You can help me by doing what I want. How often do we do that? Y'all, I'm guilty of it. I am so guilty of it sometimes. More times than I would like to admit. Sometimes we need an answer to our problems and we only see one answer. You know, we only see our solution. But then Jesus comes and gives us another solution, and surprise, it usually works out better than it ever would have if we would have done it our way. So just use this story as a reminder that we don't need to tell Jesus how to do things. We don't need to tell Jesus what we need. And he knows the best way. He knows the best solution to our problems. And then really quick before we move on to verse 8, I want to just mention how it said, Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water. So they filled them to the brim. That meant that there was no room for anything else. So this was a true transformation from water to wine. How often in our lives do we want a full transformation, but we're not filling our entire body up with Christ to the brim? We're not filling ourselves with the Holy Spirit. We're not filling ourselves to the brim full with his word. And then we're expecting a full transformation, but we're leaving room inside of us for all of these other things, for all of these other worldly things. So Jesus told them to fill them up to the brim. So there was no room for anything else, so that this could be a full transformation from water to wine.